What motivates someone to take a life? Could it be the death of family, grief, or simple plain insanity? Those are the questions many had during the strange and horrific case of the disappearances and murder of the 4 young men. The Landlady case. The suspect, Odella Sudworth, a former landlady, responsible for the deaths of these men. How did she do it? Cyanide poisoning. Sudworth's attorney plans on having Sudworth's sentence reduced with an insanity defence, on the grounds that she wasn't in the right mindset when operating her bed and breakfast, therefore had no intention of harming her victims. Mr. and Mrs. Weaver's prosecutor plans on having Sudworth held reliable for the deaths of Billy Weaver, Mr. Greenside, Christopher Mulholland, Gregory W. Temple, and having her punished with either a life sentence or the death penalty. Based on evidence found around her home, her fingerprints on the teacup, poison, and on the taxidermied bodies. When authorities were called and arrived at the local bed and breakfast at around 7:35 p.m. last night after a few calls from the local residents reporting of strange and disturbing behaviour from the landlady. A few days prior to the authorities' arrival, witnesses stated they saw the victim, Billy Weaver, who was later found deceased in the upstairs bedroom alongside the other missing men. He was last seen yesterday morning waiting at the bed and breakfast before being let in by the suspect who was last seen with Mr. Weaver at the time. Eyewitnesses also told authorities that there were previous victims who stood by the bed and breakfast only to never be seen days later. The suspect claims that Mr. Weaver was simply resting when the authorities came in with a warrant to investigate these claims from the local residents concerned for Mr. Weaver's well-being, as he reported missing after not being seen for days. In the suspect's home, authorities caught a whiff of an odour from the tea, one of bitter almonds. Toxicologists later discovered traces of cyanide from the tea. Authorities investigated upstairs with the suspect being resistant and pleading that they mustn't go up there, as there were guests trying to sleep and they would rather not be disturbed. Authorities persisted and found the bodies of Mr. Greenside, Christopher Mulholland, Gregory W. Temple, and Billy Weaver, all who appeared to have been stuffed into what appeared to be some taxidermied project, with Billy being the most recent, positioned in a room with other bodies posed as if recreating a scene or setting the suspect had in her mind. After this disturbing discovery, the suspect was detained and brought in for questioning. The victim's family and friends were informed as to what had happened to them. Yeah, I knew that Billy kid. Good lad he was. Shame what happened to him. All he wanted was a bed and breakfast. But all he got was a bed.
Bloody awful, the situation. The lady kept bodies and bloody stuffed them to recreate some sick fantasy in her head. What the devil is wrong with people nowadays? Is stuffing a new normal now?
To think that I lived next to her as she did these heinous acts. After she lost her son, she never seemed right in her head. Matter of fact, she mistook me as her deceased son the other day, and I had to correct her, and she seemed rather insistent and tried to lure me in her house for some tea. I had this gut-wrenching feeling, so I walked away and ignored her. To think that I could have been one of her pets it's horrifying.